Hey folks, hope this message finds you all well and in good health. Just want to touch on what we see happening out in Minneapolis now with all the turmoil and the backlash from the death of Mr. Floyd at the hands of the Minneapolis police. It's unfortunate to see what's happening and to realize that race is still a tinderbox in our society. I know folks have talked about the concept of having a colorblind society, but the reality is that there is no such thing. We have to recognize who we are and recognize our stories. And the stories, unfortunately, is wrapped up in race. It's a part of it. And to ignore it and to say that it's not something to be acknowledged is literally like putting your head in the sand. So we have to take people's experiences and what they experience in society and accept it for what it is, and hopefully we can empathize those who are not uh, not black and don't experience the things that we as black people do and see things the way we do. Hopefully this is an eye opener for them. This has happened so many times, and it has, people have dismissed it, but the truth of the matter is it's not something to be dismissed. It's a systematic issue that needs to be addressed, and hopefully we can all come together around this issue. We know that not all police officers are bad, and sometimes it's just a matter of poor training. If an officer is trained to be sympathetic to a particular situation or to understand the risks and impact of their actions, they would act differently. And so, again, not to paint all officers as bad. We need our officers. We truly do need good law enforcement officers. But there are those who need to be weeded out or retrained to understand and hopefully recognize their own biases. So we're looking at the need for not just proper training in terms of how to handle and de-escalate certain situations. We need to also look at appropriate bias training, because we all have inherent bias, no matter how we might say that we are open to everything. The reality is that we all have underlying biases that come out subconsciously. And part of the way of addressing that is to first recognize that fact that we all have a certain level of bias within us and recognize that it is human. But right, and that's based on our upbringing, based on our experiences. These things are just part of us. And so we have to find ways to first recognize the problem, and second, to actually do something to address it, because none of us are perfect. But I think that again, this is an issue that we need to look at within our police force to make sure that law enforcement, one, recognizes this is an issue, as opposed to passing it off as just one or two bad cops. Sometimes the matter is, as I said, poor training. My heart goes out to the family of Mr. Floyd. He should not have died that way, and to see this on national news and for them to see how he died is a really sad and disheartening thing. As a black man in America, it is also an extremely disheartening thing. As a father of a young black man who's growing up in this society, it's also an extremely disheartening thing. And we need to really act on this. I read today that the Justice Department is making this a priority. This was a priority before this current administration came in office. I mean, a lot of the things that were being investigated and a lot of pressure was being put on police forces by the prior administration was basically scuttled, set aside by the new administration. So right now, I'd say it's too little, too late. I'm glad that they're actually doing something, but there isn't much for them to do, really. I mean, anyone who looks at that video recognizes that there was murder. So them saying they're going to make a priority out of this is not really saying anything much at all. But at the end of the day, again, at least they recognize the situation, and I hope, as I said, that we will be able to get some more attention to the situation, because you know this is not the way that police forces should conduct activities, and I think we all recognize that. And again, not to blame all police officers, not to blame all police forces, but this is where we need intervention. We need proper training. Body cams are important to keep them honest and keep everyone honest. And bias training is definitely an essential need for our force. Again, It's disheartening again to have to address this situation, and frankly, disheartening is really an understatement. I'm pretty damn pissed off, even though you don't really see it, because to hear this happen over and over again to people who look like me, for minor infractions that do not warrant a death penalty, is really aggravating. Anyway, I hope you all have a blessed day. Keep the faith. We will make our society better if we all continue to move forward in a positive way, looking for positive solutions. Unfortunately, right now, what's happening in Minnesota is not positive. But people, unfortunately, they have a lot of pent up anger and they're letting it out. And hopefully, we will see some normalcy come back and cooler heads will prevail. And we'll start to see some real positive actions that will make a difference for everyone in the community going forward. This man's life hopefully will not have been lost in vain. And we will see some results from this going forward. Have a blessed day.